Hi, hello everyone. I am now gonna do a video on a video review of a what is called a visual novel. Now, it's taken me a little bit of courage to do this, and it is from the outface very nerdy and very Japanese anime, all that. But if you look past the cover, you'll find a very heartfelt story of inspiration. The story I'm talking about is called Kawata Shoujo. I am probably butchering that pronunciation, but nonetheless, I'll put a link down. Now, it is a free visual novel, and what a visual novel is basically it's it's a visual novel. You read the text on the screen, and they'll show pictures or computer-generated scenes called CGs, and you basically read the story and you're able to experience it a little bit more than a book. When you read a book, all the visuals and all the voices are in your head. The visual novel, they can be voice acting along with the text, but in this one there is no voice acting whatsoever, so you still got that little bit of imagination in your head, but the visuals of how the characters look, how the scenery looks, that is all displayed for you. Now, Katawa Shoujo, if you are a Japanese linguistic, you might think it's a derogatory term for disabled people. It is, but it's not to be taken as that. Now, what the story is that it revolves around a character called Haiso. Now, he is in his last year in high school, and he has a heart attack. Goes in the hospital and finds out he has a condition called arrhythmia. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but after hospitalization, and when he gets out, he has to go to this new school, which is for people with disabilities that need to be, maintained with medication or have, 24-hour nurses to help them out. And when I heard about this a few days ago, I didn't know anything about visual novels, anything of the sort. Never played or read any or anything about it. But I was just reading on some forums, and it really caught my interest. So I downloaded it. It's 100% free, and just went straight into it. Didn't read anything more. Just heard that it's a great story and I should read it and go through it. Now, this game, it's comprised of 4 acts, which can go in 6 different paths. 5 which are 5 different girls that it's technically kind of a dating sim, but not really. It's more of a choose your own path kind of book, where you have these choices that will diverge your path, this way or that. The first act, your choices will determine what girl you start dating, or if you're indecisive, I've done it the second playthrough through. I accidentally chose that path, and it wasn't pretty well. Basically, I won't ruin it for you, but it's pretty sad ending. But the first playthrough, I had no idea there are even multiple girls to go after, or anything of the sort. I just chose the choices that I would choose myself, like introduce yourself to the class, take up exercising. All that, the stuff that I would choose as myself. And the girl I got paired up with was actually pretty relatively like me in a way. Outgoing, athletic, and all that. So I thought the choices actually conveyed the personality quite well. Now, I went through the whole storyline, and it was a great story. But let me go over the girls first. Now, like I said, this might sound real nerdy or whatever, but bear with me, please. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 girls. One is deaf and mute. One is without legs. One is without arms. One is blind, and the other one has lost her left eye and has scars all over her left side of her face. I have not gone into depth on what happened with her, but basically this is a dating sim for disabled girls. Now, it sounds very odd, and well, it is, but you have to try it if you love a good story and you're able to deal with all the nerdiness of it, if you would say. It has a very inspiring story, which actually inspired me to go work out even more. As the first path I choose, as I said, was a athletic girl, it actually got me more inspired to work out. Because one of the things, one for Lions in the book was that she's the fastest thing on no legs. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate having a disability and being okay, not okay with it, but learning how to work with it. Like, I technically have a disability. You know, I shake. Whenever I try to drink, I have to hold it with two hands. I can't write for shit. But I find workarounds. I either hold it 2 cups, I use a computer. I find workarounds for my disability, which I suggest anyone do. Do not be defeated by your disability. Overcome it and find a workaround. Yes, you have limits. I'm not going to say you're limitless. Everyone has limits. But how you accept those and try to find a workaround, that's what defines a person. Now I'm getting a little too philosophical. Should go back into the story. As I was saying, there are 5 girls, all with different disabilities that, you're like, why would I ever want to date this kind of girl? Why won't I just get the normal? Yes, that's, of course normal, but you find out that these are just normal people, which a lot of people seem to forget that, if someone lost their arms or is blind, they're a normal person. They were a normal person before that happened. Even if they were born with that kind of ailment, they're still a normal human being. And, honestly, I knew that, but I never really saw it till I read through this. And it actually made me more realize that they're just normal people. And that they live their lives as anyone else would, just through different means. Now, it's, like I said, there are technically like 5 storylines with 4 different acts. Now, I've only done 2 storylines fully, and I'm right now working on a 3rd one, and it's really good. It rekindled my love for novels and reading, because recently, just probably within the last year, I stopped reading. I used to read a lot, and this has rekindled it. I'm starting to want to read more because I love the story. I love living that world. I mean, for me, if I do a normal playthrough for one of those stories, it took me 5 hours. And I would get engrossed in the story, and it captivates you. Now, I'm halfway through, technically you could say, the whole story. And I'm sad when it's going to end, because I know it's going to end. All stories end. But I'm going to remember that it was a good time. It was a thoroughly enjoyable story. Now, like I said, if you get past all the, the anime part of it, the nerdy part of it, all that, you'll enjoy a great story that is quite motivating and captivating. And yes, there are some adult scenes, as would any mature kind of novel would be. There are adult scenes because that is humanity. Relationships have adult content. It's unavoidable. Now, in this, it is skippable, yes, but there are so few, and they're not used disgustingly or unnecessary. They're used to captivate the time and the emotions that are going around at the moment, and they're used very tastefully, so don't worry about that. So check it out. It's called, let me try to pronounce this again, Katawa Shoujo, and it's quite motivating, and stick through it. You'll enjoy it if you enjoy it like I have. And now I'm gonna go get back to it because it's just great. Enjoy, everyone, and post up in the comments if you've already gone through it and how you feel about it. Thank you. Bye. I'm creep. Later.